Hi there, just got back from a book sale. It was $1 for a bag of books. I got 2 bags of books, only spent $2, and I feel like I got some great stuff. Most of these will be repurposed into mixed media pieces, crafts, and such like that. But let me go ahead and show you what I acquired. We'll start with the first bag. One is Diary of an Early American Boy. And the reason that I got this is because it has some really cool artwork. Some really cool drawings of like early pioneer style life. And you see a little covered wagon and everything. And I thought these are really cute drawings, so this book will be used and disassembled. Next book is Hosting the Birds. How to Attract Birds to Nest in Your Yard. Right here. This one I actually got for the information because I would like to attract some birds into the area to be able to enjoy and such. So this is a book I will be reading after I've read it and acquired the information from it that I want, which I'll probably just take some digital copies of some of the information from here. At that point I might disassemble it because it does have some really nice little pieces of artwork of birds and such. Like I said, most of these things are going to be disassembled at some point. Next up is 12 very easy little piano music pages. This is going to be specifically for repurposing in arts and crafts. And it looks like my battery's blinking, so I may have to come back. We'll see how long it goes. The next one is Encyclopedia of the Horse. I've actually seen this book before when I was much younger. And it has some wonderful information about the different breeds of horses, some great photographs, and yeah, this is one that I bought specifically so I could snag those pictures out of there. So that one will be disassembled as well. I'm probably going to use the outside of the hardcovers to make junk journals and such, so they have a hardcover. This one is Anticolored Glass. And this is just an illustration book with some history behind antique glass. But I really like the illustrations, so this is definitely going to be disassembled. But yeah, the cover will be repurposed in either an art journal, junk journal, some sort of way. Next up is a music book, and it even has some damage on, as you see, one of the pages there is ripped in half. This one I thought was really interesting because it does have some foreign words printed on it, so, and then down here as well. So I think that the songs in here also are not American songs. So I liked that. I thought that was cool, and it excited me to use these pages in artistic ways. Next up is another one that is, now this one is, I believe, like a beginner level for those learning piano, like little kids and such. I thought it actually had some pretty cute little illustrations in it, so I figured this would be a good one for the illustrations and for the music as well. Because I do like putting music in mixed media. One fiction novel, Stephen King, Insomnia. I've never read this one. I've read most of Stephen King's books, as far as at least his older collections. This one was one I had never read, so figured, yeah, might as well do some reading. Be a good activity for this summer. Next up is one that I thought was more inclusive than it is. It is the Encyclopedia Botanica, and this is the essential reference guide to native and exotic plants in Australia. I was thinking this was a book that had plants from North America. Nope, they're from Australia. Wonderful, wonderful graphics and drawings in this book. So I will be disassembling this one as well. And it's got a really huge, chunky cover. That'll be a good thing to be able to repurpose. Oh, focus please. And yeah, let me go ahead and switch out the battery because it is really screaming at me. Okay, I got a new battery in, so let's go with the second bag. So that was the first bag. And in the second bag of books, we have Learning to Weave. I actually got this because I think it would be interesting as a hobby to do some weaving. So yeah. And I don't know anything about weaving. I don't know how difficult it is. I don't know. Anyway, but I figured this would be a good book to check out. And once I'm done, it actually has some pretty cool patterns and stuff. If I wanted to repurpose it at some point, I could do that. Another one is Classic Crafts. And it's a magazine style book. It has a lot of cool little crafts and stuff and projects in it, so I figured again look through the book, see if anything interests me to try. If not, there's tons of illustrations and photographs in here that I can repurpose in mixed media pieces or collages or any of that stuff. Next one is The Complete Idiot's Guide to Writing Poetry. I actually feel like I'm a pretty decent poet as it is, but I'm curious to see what kind of stuff is in this, and I'm sure I'll probably learn something new. So, yep. Next one is Learning Calligraphy. Right here. I've tried doing calligraphy before when I was younger, much younger, and didn't have the focus for it. I think maybe now I do. I don't know. I figured this is a good book to try and see if it's something that would interest me, because calligraphy is very pretty. Alright, next up is Wonder Under Handmade Gifts. Right here. Looks like some pretty simplistic style crafts. There are some good patterns in the back that can be used for projects of sorts. So, and then again, like I said, if I decide not to do any of those projects, I can repurpose the pages. 2 hour scrap crafts. 2 hour scrap crafts. I thought that could be a fun one. 2 hours is a good amount of time to do a craft. And if it's using scraps, well, I love to repurpose. I love to try and be creative in that way. So I'm sure this book will give me plenty of inspiration. Next up is the Recorder book. Here's a recorder. It's a instrument. But yeah, it's got some songs in it. And I believe it also has some, yeah, it has some tutorials as well with recorders. I don't own a recorder. I am thinking about getting a recorder, and if I do, I've got a way to learn it. Not that I couldn't go to YouTube and probably learn just as easy as well, but it was a book sale, so you know. Easier to get more books than you need, because you can always figure out some, or I can always figure out a way to either repurpose them, or if it's a book that's in good condition and there's not a reasonable way to repurpose it, then I will donate it to a little library in the area. Next up is Reader's Digest Country Ways, a celebration of rural life. The picture on the front really caught my eye. It's cute. Very cute, and it's got some really fun graphics inside of just some rural living style things, even some inappropriate things like cockfighting and what have you. But I figured that this book could be a interesting one to take. Look at that picture here. Isn't that great graphic? Some interesting things I figure could be repurposed from this book. So yeah, and who knows, it could be some interesting reading too. I'll certainly flip through the pages and read a little bit before I start cutting into it, because you never know. Next up is the best of decorative painting, right here. And this one has just some really nice graphics of various artists' work, featuring the artists and just kind of sharing a little bit about their story and displaying one of their pieces. I love these types of books because I find them to be extremely inspirational. And if you're looking to like try to draw something or whatever, sometimes these kind of things, you know, are a nice little thing to give you some inspiration just for practicing drawing and whatnot. So I was really happy to have found that one. That was a good one. And then it looks like, yes, the last book in the last bag is Home Depot's Home Improvement 1, 2, 3. Expert advice from the Home Depot. And this one has everything from wiring to plumbing to woodwork, painting, wallpaper, ceilings, floors, doors, windows, cabinets, countertops, insulating and weatherproofing, exterior maintenance. Like if it has to do with home, they are covering it, it seems like, in here. I thought this would just be a good book just to have in the home in case something comes up that we might be able to resolve ourselves, save a little bit of money, and learn a new skill. So yeah, this is definitely one that is just going to go on the bookshelf and be kept for just the knowledge. And this way also, and I know people are like, well, you can always go online and find anything. Yes, this is true at this time. But let's say something were to happen and we didn't have access to the internet for whatever reason, or the power is out for whatever reason. There are ways that you gotta maneuver around the internet and online and modern stuff, because sometimes people find themselves in a situation where those things are not accessible. So having things, information for things that may need to be done to help quality of life, I think are always good to have in paper form, because you never know. Same thing with like atlases. I think that having an atlas in your car is really important, because if something were to ever happen and GPS was no longer available, or I mean, you don't even know. Life can be quite unpredictable at times, so having a little safeguard, always a good idea. I feel like I scored big time on my book buy. Let me know if any of these books were ones that caught your eye, ones that you would have grabbed as well. But yeah, I'm very happy with what I found. And this was the last day of the sale, so I'm sure a ton had been picked through in the first few days of the sale. So I'm happy that I saw the things I saw, considering that there were a lot of people there when we were there. And like I said, it was the last, excuse the Chihuahua and her bronchitis. It was the last day of the sale, so I feel like I did pretty good. If you have ever been to a book sale, let me know down below. I love them. This is the first one I've been to in a long time, but I do love book sales. I think they can be really fun, and you can really get a great deal for books, especially ones that are hardback and could normally be like $30 to $60 brand new. You can score them, you know, for pennies basically if you're buying per bag. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye.